This video is going to show you a solar GM with a solar-centric build called Scorch the Sun build. To note, the last time Solar Surge was active in Destiny 2 was October 1st, 2024. That is exactly 229 days ago. And there is no foreseeable future of Solar Surge being in the game until Edge of Fate. The reason being is because there's 5 elements in the game, right? Well, we're only getting 4 surges on a rotation. They are on the rotation. So unless Bungie intervenes and puts Solar Surge in the game, then you will not see Solar Surge until 15th of July minimum. It's constructive feedback. I just think it's not okay in the game for this to be the case. Just putting it out there. When you're reviewing the footage, remember, no Solar Surge. And the build is amazing still. That speaks volumes. So the surges are Void Surge, Strand Surge, Void Threat is on, a couple of there's unstartable champs, and a couple of GM mods not worth mention. So the build revolves around Prometheus Lens because it scorches. Prometheus Lens is actually indirectly being buffed. Why? Because it scorches. It always did, but Harsh Refraction gives it a buff. So Prometheus Lens will self-buff itself when Harsh Refraction procs, which it will be all the time when it scorches. This is good. So Prometheus Lens is not a 10 out of 10 weapon, but it's an 8 out of 10 weapon. It's actually rather good. It surprised me on how good it is today. Now, artifact mods. There is your configuration of artifact mods right now today. I'm not going to give you a detailed breakdown of this. Do you know why? Because I'm starting to get tired of it. Why is it? Please, I need D2 vets to help me on this as well now, because I'm starting to lose my mind on it. Why is it we are nearly the end of this season and people are still confused on artifact mod configurations and Tomb of Want? Can you please explain it to me, lads? Because I'm sick of explaining this every video, and I don't want to talk to myself about this because I know the average watch time over a solo GM, it's 12-14 minutes, which is actually above average. But the chances are people might miss the intro, so they're missing the explanation every time. And some of you have missed the explanation of artifact mods every video for over 6 months. That is not okay. That is people taking the piss, and I won't be took advantage of with it. I am not taxing my voice for people every video just because you don't want to research your damn artifact mods. Look, do you need a blueberry artifact mod video? Please tell me if you do. I'll make it. But in the meantime, I'm not taxing my voice explaining things over and over for people. I am a little bit annoyed about it, to be honest. Why are you not doing your research on artifact mods? Why are you not doing your research on Tomb of Want? It has become an issue. Now, it's not just the public's fault. It's also Bungie's fault. Give constructive feedback to them. We need tutorials in the game for artifacts. We need a little bit of in-game help for those new players, because I end up crashing out on them because I've been explaining myself over and over. Would you like it? Would you like it if I asked you the same question over and over for 9 months? I bet you wouldn't, and you wouldn't entertain me. So let's not have me crash out. No more artifact descriptions. What I'm going to do, like everybody else, 3, 2, 1, boom, you've had your mods. There's no excuse. You can pause the video and you can equip those mods, and that is that. Okay, now let's get back to positive, because I went down a dark path there. Let's go back to the positivity. Prometheus Lens can be buffed by Dawn Chorus. Dawn Chorus improves Scorch. It also improves Daybreak Super. So we go with Daybreak Super and we're going full solar. So I've got Healing Rift on, Celestial Fire, Healing Grenade on, Aspects with Touch of Flame, Helion. Helion's really good because when you pair it with Ember of Singeing, you're going to keep getting your Helion back with your class ability. So you can lock down zones with this build. Ember of Solace, Ashes, Torches. Okay, so other weapons I used a Lydia for unstops, and I used a primary. The reason why I run a primary is this. If I'd done this and went double special, I can tell you that it's not good enough. Now, I want you to tell me why it's not good enough. I'll tell you exactly why, right? Because this build is really about its super. The neutral game is really good with Helion, but it's not prismatic. Let's not fool ourselves. While Solar Warlock's strong, it is not prismatic. On prismatic, double special is more powerful because you have more abilities to fill in the gaps when you're using double special weapon builds. However, on your single element classes, it's better to run one special weapon and one primary because all the special weapon ammo will go in that one weapon. Because if you run double special, right, your special bricks are halved between the two weapons. This becomes a micromanagement game of the entire GM. Now, I know there's mods, but we're running harsh refraction. We haven't got room, dude. Flashover needs to go on. It's a requirement. Maligned Harvest should go on. It's very powerful. So, it's better to back that up with a primary that generates super energy. Kinetic Tremors generates a lot of super energy. That's why it's on. Not only that, it's on for Blight Skip. So it's very important, the Scout Rifle in this. Prometheus Lens will be spammed, make no mistake. Linear needs to go on for unstops to assist that. Here's the artifact mods, not going into all of it because there'll be a dim link. But yeah, that was the information on this. Okay, so in this run, let's review on how well Prometheus Lens does at the job of scorching, etc. We've actually fell down one. I should reload and reset to orbit, right? Absolute no way. I ain't got time for that. I'll just climb back up. But yeah, we'll review in this run on how well the Trace Rifle does damage against champs. What's it like on an add kill basis? What's its usability like? Okay, so I'm going to pop a rift here for this champ. Get a stun with the linear. Then we do some damage with our melee. Then it's all Prometheus Lens Scorch. Look at the combination. That's good because Helion's adding Scorch. Prometheus is adding Scorch. Dawn Chorus is buffing both abilities. And you're allowed to basically solo one cycle champs. If you have a solo class that you're testing and that build, whatever build it might be, it could be a rainbow build, it could be any build that you can think of. What I'm saying is, if you can solo one cycle the champ, that is the success. That means the build's a success. Now, I didn't quite solo one cycle this champ, but what happened there was there was a slight range drop off. So your Trace Rifles have a steep range drop off in Destiny 2. That's what's keeping them from meta, by the way. They haven't got good range. They've got like auto rifle range. Why they've got auto rifle range, I don't know. But if they had unlimited range, Trace Rifles would be probably the best. One of the best special weapons in the game. They're not at the minute, but they're okay. Certain ones are good, like Microcosm's good. Prometheus Lens is good, stuff like that. Now I'm going to skip the unstop that we usually deal with. Yeah, the one that I've been dealing with for ages. I'm actually skipping them because I want to actually just get on with the run. Okay, so the second hive unstop, to confirm it, I've skipped them. And you get platinum rank. But we need to kill all the other champs, which I am. This entire run's going to be like that. So I use a super, kill the take an unstop, which you'll be in middle somewhere. Use a super on him. Stun with the linear if you can, then use your super. Dawn Chorus will stun and unstop, but you get more damage if you stun with a weapon, then super. Instead of wasting 4 swings to stun the unstop, then do damage. Optimize your supers. Like I said, Dawn Chorus does stun champs in its super, but you want to stun with a weapon instead to up the damage. This will massively up. Look at the amount of damage we're doing here. Hypernova Bane. The Trace was good enough to handle Hypernova Bane. That is another test to me in combat for GMs to say, okay, this weapon's doing the damage. Because it is. Overload Trace Rifle overcharges Prometheus Lens. So it's gonna get Solar Surge, technically, even though I crashed out about Solar Surge. Technically it has Solar Surge equipped. But that's not entirely true because we've got Scorch in my kit, and Scorch would take advantage or benefit from Solar Surge massively. I mean, how long have I've got a build, a sleeper build, call it a sleeper build, and it revolves around Microcosm. I can tell people now because it doesn't matter. It revolves around Microcosm, and it revolves around using Disruption Break. Although now I come to think of it, I have actually showed that build off. But it would be nice if we could get solar surge, because that would then enhance Song of Flame for the build that I'm on about. But getting back to the run, this is one reason why the Scout's on. It does good damage, this Scout, to the Blight. So the Blights can be shot right and left. I found this out weeks ago. But let's remind people again. You can shoot the Blights at the very top of them. All weapon damage can be done. A whole array of weapons can do this. Just shoot the top of the Blight. Even your linear can do it. Linears do massive damage. Some of them do 3, 4, 5k. Let's see if we can get our shots. See, look. That's a lot of damage to a Blight. Like the Scout's only doing 498 per single shot. So you can linear down the Blights, but you need to, it's a accuracy thing. You've got to hit the Blight at the right time, at the right area to get the damage to proc. Look, both Blights are done. This is the Blight skip. This saves a lot of time. And then what you're going to do is a healer nade down the stairs, then pop super. Try to jump over the Grims. I didn't. They slowed me. So this was worse. A little bit. Let's see how this turns out. First time I'm watching it back. Kill the unstop. Get him killed now while you're in your super. You're going to receive a lot of damage yet, but you're going to rift right up. Right after your super's ended if you haven't killed unstop. Then we're going to kill him with Helion and Prometheus. Boom, that's done. And I'm going to run through. I risked it for some ammo, but that was fine. And there you go. That's the Blight skip room done. And we've killed the champ, which we needed to kill him because I skipped the second unstop earlier on. Okay, so we're going to rift up. Helion. Look at the amount of rifts I'm getting in this run. By the way, you could do this with Phoenix Dive. I was doing this with Phoenix Dive. Phoenix Dive loyalists are wanting to know, why hasn't he run Phoenix Dive? Why is he running the Rift? I'm running the Rift because I need more lockdown. What you need to start thinking about your builds is, do I need more mobility or do I need more lockdown? In Sunless Cell, it is a very lockdown based GM. Not a lot of mobility is needed, if we're being honest. It's small rooms. It's all small rooms when you break it up. So you don't really need a Phoenix Dive in this. Phoenix Dive is better suited on high mobile situations like in dungeons. Some GMs are more mobile as well, where Phoenix Dive is more useful. But in this run, rift and round corners to keep up your Helion and stuff like that is advantageous. Because Healing Rift has more healing uptime than Phoenix Dive. Okay, remember that. Yes, the game's a lot quicker than what it used to be, but when you're solo, you are solo. You don't have a Titan barricade. You don't have a Hunter Tether. It's just you. You gotta remember that. Yeah? So when you're locking down zones in GMs, I want you to run rifts. Unless there's a specific use case for Phoenix Dive, and sometimes there is. Like you saw me last week, I ran Phoenix Dive in Spire the Watcher because it's definitely the play. Because Spire the Watcher is very mobile. It requires a lot out of you mobile wise. Whereas Sunless Cell, it's lockdown, kill a VIP, lockdown, kill IV, VIP, kill a champ, you know, all this sort of stuff going on. And I've got no glaive on, remember? Like I've been telling you for 4 or 5 weeks now. Sunless Cell is very much a glaive GM. If you don't run a glaive, you're at a disadvantage. And this run was disadvantaged slightly because of it. Like I said, if I run a glaive and the trace, it's no good. Because the ammo management of it won't be any good. It won't suit the build. Because the build's not prismatic. Okay? It's solar. Mono solar. So the primary kinetic tremors is more suited for this. Now, we've got a VIP in middle that's a Bane. If the subjugator is a Bane, he has 35% more HP. This will add 3 minutes to your run, maybe even 5. He's a lot more tankier, but look at the amount of damage Helion is doing for me here. Look at that slide. Did you see that slide there? What was that? But yeah, we're just going to keep scorching him. He keeps falling off. Helion seems to stagger him and he keeps falling off the edge, which is annoying because the AI directive of this guy is to be in middle. If he gets pushed anywhere else, he wants to go back to middle. Look, he's back to mid. He wants to do middle. This is a good spot to stand because your terror stacks are reduced. I'm barely getting to times 15, look. Because you keep going behind the rock and losing the terror stacks. But I need to get this guy finishable. Keep the ads alive. Don't kill him. If you get a bane, it's better to leave the ads alive because that stops the next spawn. If the next ads spawn when he's up, it makes the room more complicated for people, I think. On a prismatic build, you actually want to do the opposite and spawn the ads in quicker. But on this, no. If he's a bane at least. If he wasn't a bane, I wouldn't have been as so careful about it. But he's a bane and he's taking up time. I've got a super, but if I super now, I don't have it for the next bit. Yeah. So we need to get rid of him now, which I'm doing. And then we can start strategizing the next waves. I'm going to use a super for the next bit. On the next waves, just to control them a little bit. And I'm low on special. I'm quite low on special here. So yeah, I get a rift arm. I end up super in this wave because there's a phalanx phase and a captain phase before the big ogre spawns in. Now I know how dangerous these phalanx can kind of be. Look, I get pushed. So yeah, I was like, yeah, let's get rid of them with the super because I'll get my super back quick enough on the next phase, believe it or not. Anyways, so that's what I'm do. And it clears out middle. There's some scions in middle that I didn't kill from before. Right, then we get the next captain phase. Okay, so now I'm going to try and lock them down a little bit. Oh no, it's unstopped phase, my bad. Because they must have spawned in all at once. That bit. So, unstopped phase, I need to go back here. So we get a rift arm. Going to keep scorching the targets with Helion. Scorching the targets with Prometheus lens. And managing my ammo. But ideally we want a super. Which I want to super the unstop really. Because I want to save on heavy. I'm 11 on heavy. And having more heavy for later on is beneficial. Depending on what bricks I get, of course. But this phase is not dangerous at all. It's nowhere near as bad as the Subjugator. Subjugator is far more difficult in this phase. Even if you've got two eyes up. It doesn't matter because the eyes are separated and you can isolate it all. As you can see. The unstop doesn't know where I am. So we're going to get rid of him. I should have stopped him with the linear first. So I didn't follow a tip that I said just before, about 10 minutes ago. That's alright. Because the idea is really just to get rid of mid and the champ. Which it's done that, hasn't it? In actual fact, it's alright this, because I can now then farm the two wizards left and right for more super energy. Yeah, so in actual fact, it's like a little puzzle. We've used the super for halfway through this phase, but keeping the wizards up isn't a bad thing because they give you a lot of super back for the next wave. So it's actually alright this. See, when you're on a class like this, which by the way, I've maybe underplayed it in the video, Dawn Chorus, Daybreak, is a fantastic super in the game. Alright, it's a fantastic build. But when you're on a build that revolves about its super the mostly, you need to strategize those supers better. Yes, it's a Roman super. Yes, you get more. But that doesn't mean you're going to get it in 10 seconds. If you use a super on the ladder phase and it should have been on the ogre phase or something like that, that's still a mistake that you've made, or I've made, say for example. Don't get me wrong, you pop if you're going to die. But chances are you shouldn't be dying if the run is well if you know how to do the run well enough. If you know the ad spawns, you shouldn't need to. Really, to be honest. Unless there's a Drain Bane, maybe. Okay, this is where I'm going to use a super here. I'm going to super the wizard and some of the ads in middle. Because the ogre has spawned in. And then this is where we're going to do a good position. And this is why Rift goes on over Phoenix Dive. I hope people understand it. You should do. Alright. Rift and round corners is a king for Warlock. Because it's control. Look, we've just rifted. We're 3 seconds to our rift. To end, we've got it back. When you have to do single target damage over and over to a target, Phoenix Dive will last 2 seconds and it's done. You'll get Helion quicker, but it's matterless. Because you still get Helion with a rift anyways. And we need to lock down a zone. You are locking a zone down. Right now, I'm locking the zone down on left hand side for the ogre. So when I'm not in my super, I need a plan. Yeah? Well, the plan is to rift, spam Helion, spam Prometheus. That's its neutral gameplay, which, by the way, is not bad at all, actually. Like I say, I'm underplaying the build, probably, in the run. It's actually rather good, that. And it's doing sizable damage. KT, Kinetic Tremors, is adding damage to this as well. So that's a bonus for this. But we are just melting this ogre. Add spawn in, I'm going to use a super on the ogre. Because I'm confident enough to deal with the ads anyway, so I'll just use a super. I want to see what damage it does on the ogre. Then the latter end of my super, I'll do it on some of the sounds. And then a heal and rift at the exit. So you've got to realise that you will be vulnerable after a super's been done. So what's your plan after your super? You've got to really strategise. A lot of people say, oh, the skill ceiling to Prismatic's really high. Oh gosh, what will I ever do? I've got Transcendence Nids left and right, but the skill ceiling's really high. Is it though, dudes? I don't think so. I think the skill ceiling's higher on the mono classes. Of course it is. Because you've really got to strategise those abilities more. We're playing back in 2020. 2021 Witch Queen era. Where you've really got to think about what you're doing, which you should be. So when people tell me the skill ceiling is higher on Prismatic, it is in a way of speedrun sense, yes. But for the everyday player, no. For the everyday player, they're going to get a lot of gains on Consecration Titan. And chances are they're not soloing anyways. So they're just fine and dandy. If they mess a Transcendence up, no big deal, lads. He'll get it back in 30 seconds. You see what I'm saying? Whereas this class, yes, you'll get your super back quick, but in that 30 seconds after your super, what is your plan? You need a plan in place because it's got no Transcendence. So what are you doing in the meantime? My plan is to scorch everything with the Helion Ember of Singeing to give it, we're bolstering its neutral game up so it's actually got a rather good neutral gameplay. As far as the mono classes go, it's one of the best. And just imagine if Solar Surge was active in this GM. It would do absurd damage to the bosses. I think it could almost one cycle a Warden. If Solar Surge was on, no, maybe 2/3. 2/3, it would do 2/3 damage to a Warden. Basically. So, Shriekers right and left. I deal with the right one first. Just using Kinetic Tremors. This is another reason why I've got it equipped as well. I'm then going to start working on the left Shrieker. You want to open him up so that he can't shoot you like this. If he cannot shoot you, that's good. Means you don't need to dance about with him. Look, you just get him down with the scout. Okay, so middle now, we need to focus these void shields. So this room, there's a quicker way of doing this, and I think people have saw me do it, where you clear out left-hand side shriekers, you pop a super and run to the back of the map through the door. That only works if you can kill your warden from back here, which I could, but that would take longer. It would take a long time to kill him with Kinetic Tremors only, whereas a Bolt Charge Titan will melt the warden from here. Yeah, so that's not feasible, so I'm going to have to clear out the full room. Basically, I'm just going to have to do the room as it's intended. No skips. That's how the room was. So, Shriekers right and left. There's four. Two left, two right you need to deal with. Look at that TP. That nearly killed me, that. See how them events worked out there? Got to be careful with stuff like that. We'll get a Radiant melee off. That's why we use Celestial Fire. Finger Snap's no good on this build, by the way. Finger Snap is more for other things in the game. For example, Finger Snap's good on Sunbracer build. It's good on Song of Flame Double Claw build. But Finger Snaps isn't as good on, in my opinion at least, on Dawn Chorus builds. I prefer Celestial Fire because I'm playing at longer ranges, generally speaking. Whereas if I'm on Prismatic Song of Flame, I'm playing up closer. I've got Devour, I've got this, I've got that. Whereas on this, you know, we play a bit more from range, medium range. Shrieker middle, try and kill him with Kinetic Tremors. If I get weak, I use a healing aid. That's why I've got healing aid on. I want to get rid of some of these ads. I also use a bit of the linear because they're all void shields. They take ages to take down without a void weapon, so just deal with them quickly. This is where the trace rifle will fall off. Yeah, trace rifles, as I've said, they have range fall off. They've got a range penalty stat. Why, I don't know, but if they could remove that, that would be good. But if they did, they would be OP. But anything to get people to use traces, I guess. But yeah, it suffers in this. I'm going to pop super in mid because it spawns in the ads when you push up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a super here and just clear out the ads in middle. That's the purpose of the super. It's not to kill unstops, just to clear out the captains and stuff like that. Then once super's done, we back up a little bit. We've got a pummeled dog to our right, being weird. I'm going to get the pummeled dog first if I can. That could be a wipe. Pummeled dog has disappeared. What was that? Get a stun with the linear. I've got plenty of linear, so I'll just use it. That's it, we delete the champ. We get a heavy brick, that's quite lucky. And now I'm back to Shrieker duty. I need to get rid of these two Shriekers so that I can continue with the room. I get pulled. That's why glaive's good. If you've got a glaive on, you can guard against that attack. No glaive, you can't guard against it. You've got to be careful with them captains. Okay, Shriekers left and right. Nearly done with them. Correct Tremors make short work of them, to be honest. It does. Okay, unstop's pushed. I'm going to pop a rift. Let's see. What's this here? Helion plus Prometheus lens is stood on this unstop. Look at the damage it's doing there. See? That's pretty good. To get a champ finishable off one cycle of damage is a test that if he passes that test, your build is certifiable for solo. That's the most basic way to test a build in GMs, is to go and stun a champ and see if you kill him in one phase or just about. See, I ran Coldheart yesterday because I know that that's going to be a favourite one. And I can tell you honestly, Prometheus lens is better than Coldheart. I'm sorry. But after my tests, Prometheus lens is way better than Coldheart. It does more damage. Now, you're going to say, well, Coldheart gives ionic traces. Yeah, but so does the fusion rifle. If you're going to run Chaos Reach with Geomags, it's the fusion, not Coldheart. Coldheart needs a buff. It's not doing the damage. You know, I don't want to go to the trouble of telling you that. It's not doing the damage. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I don't like Coldheart users. I'm saying it because it's true, damn it. Coldheart isn't doing the damage in GMs. Even with Arc Surge. It's got good Ionic Trace, but so what? Ionic Trace is just ability regen. Arc Warlock has all the ability regen in the world, so you're fine without it. Again, use the Fusion Rifle. Fusion Rifle is much better than Coldheart. I'm just saying, Prometheus lens is better, more damage than Coldheart. I've tested it. I've already tested it. I wouldn't just go to the trouble of telling you if I hadn't tested it. I have. Because you would be seeing a Coldheart run today, because that was my plan. My plan was to do Coldheart, Arc Warlock. But I was like, yeah, Coldheart's not doing it for me. So I changed my plan. I was like, okay, let's test Prometheus lens, because I know that it scorches targets. It gets the harsh refraction buff automatic. So it's easier. It's got it easier. Look at the damage it's doing here. Warden's a tanky. It's doing decent damage. That's good, Dan. That's pretty good. You should want to hope for that. Let's not misconstrue people's misconceptions. Yeah? What is passable damage solo? That clip you just saw there. If you're doing damage to that degree with any weapon, it's passable in solo cell. That's passable damage. But some people, I don't know, some people expect more of things. And they want everything to do incredible damage. And that's just not how the game works. Because if everything does incredible damage, nothing special. So whilst, yes, I'm an advocate of buffing a lot of things, and I don't care about power creep, by the way, not that much. I'm not a massive person against power creep. But what I am saying is, if everything did an incredible amount of damage, then the important exotics wouldn't matter anymore because other weapons would match it. There's a sandbox for a reason, people. And that's what arguably has kept people playing all this amount of time. You need you need an interactive sandbox that's shifting a lot. I would preferably like the sandbox to shift more than what it does now, but it at least does shift. And people like to call Bungie and say, "Oh, the meta, this, that, and the other." They do change it up quite a bit, to be honest. If one thing that Bungie's been doing very well over the last 3 years is sandbox. They have kept players playing. Don't call the sandbox team. They have kept you interested. They are to be acknowledged as devs that kept us playing during the times when we should have got more content than what we did. So remember about that. Sandbox team are not to be called. Although there are some things they could maybe improve upon, weapon-wise. There is some weapons that should get love and have not gotten love in like 5 years. I'm not going to mention those weapons, but there are some. But, as I said, they've done a half-decent job overall over the last 3 years. When the health bar gets to D, wizards spawn in, so just watch. You can stand on this pillar, look. Look at this. We can just stand up here. We've got a shockbane behind me. I'm going to use super. I need to get my super though. So I kill a wizard. Look at this though. It's a really good strat, this. People panic on that phase. Not me. I'm on a pillar. Not a care in the world. I'm on a pillar. Look what the super's doing. It's cleared out the wizards. And the thrall. I'm looking for special though because I've spammed it. So I'm looking for special. I'm thinking about special ammo right now. No special ammo's on the floor. That's fine. There's more opportunity to get it. Back to damage. So next spawn will be half HP, or just above I think, and you get some thrall. Curse thrall that is. Oh, just be careful though. There's a trick to it. It's good to do this, by the way, for 2 reasons. Number 1, survivability. Number 2, more damage. You get more damage if you do this. The boss teleports less. Yeah? He teleports less. I know, because I've tested it when he teleports and when he doesn't. So if you're on the ground, he will teleport way more. Also, if you've got a turret on him, he'll teleport more. So that's why I'm standing here. Look at the damage we're doing. Pretty good. I'm building up my super as well. I'm going to get him low, but not too low. Because when his HP gets to a third, or less than a third, sorry, wizard spawning. We need to be prepared for wizard phase. Because your goal is to not use super. It's tempted to use it. Don't. If you do that, the unstopped phase is going to be so much easier. This is what we were going back to with super management. Make sure you're supering at the right times, not the wrong times. If you super at the wrong time, it could mean a death later on in your run. It could be critical. Watch this clip. Watch this. This is weird. Healer nade. Boom. My healer nade killed the thrall, lads. What was that? What was that though? That was weird desync. I guess Prometheus was scorching the ads and they blew up. But it looked like as I threw my healer nade, they blew up because of it. But they didn't. It just desync. Okay, look at ammo now. Full special. Full heavy. I'm doing really good for phase 2. We're 27 minutes in. Don't forget, people, I had a Bane Subjugator. That adds 3 minutes to the run. So if I had not had a Drain Bane, we'd be on 25 minutes. For a non-prismatic class, that's quick. That's pretty good. This run's doing really good so far. This is like your standard stock 30-minute run that should be around about that. I've got an overwarp run done and saved, but the run was no good like I mentioned the other day. It wasn't good. It was a 37-minute clear. It was rubbish. So I'm not uploading it. Nova Warp needs help. It's rubbish. Nova Warp's... I don't know. I wish it was a lot better than what it was. There's no builds for it. And not to mention, void builds are bad for unstops. Yeah. Sunless Cell is just not good for void builds. I know because I've ran them, like I said. So this is this is better because this build, it's better for unstops. There's only unstops in this, so you need to spec for the champ that's in this. So you've either got arc or solar or prismatic. Strand's pretty good as well, but that's Strand Titan, Strand Hunter. Strand Warlock's not that good. Okay, get rid of your wizards and all the cursed. And you're going to stand behind a lantern. Now, I'm going to do a little trick here to see if it works, and it did for science. Watch this. Emote trick. My head is in a obstacle. The boss will not shoot me. Let's see if it works. Boss spawns in. He knows where I am, but he hasn't shot me. Look at that. Look at that. So I heal a nade. Super. That lets all the ads come in. Now the goal is to clear out all the ads and do some damage to the unstop. If we don't kill the unstop, it doesn't matter. What matters is the ads. Look, all ads are killed. Now I need to get a stop. Preferably use the linear. I'm going to use Prometheus, see if I can stun. Do I stun? No, I'm not stunning quick enough. So, I get stun with the linear. That's fine. Bolt charge heals me. Get a finisher kill over shield. Done. That's first unstop phase done. So, do you see now? It was so important to save a super for that phase. If I had supered the wizards, I would not have had my super for this phase. That would then be a wipe. I've seen Leopard die on the first phase because he just didn't have a super for this phase because he supered wizard phase. So exactly the scenario I've just told you, I watched it live on Leopard's stream. Leopard's a good player, so I'm not calling him. I'm just saying that I've actually seen other players do this where they fail on stream by doing a super at the wrong time. It's so critical. You have to commit to wizards with no super so that you've got a super for the champs. Now, for second hive unstops, you're going to have it because you're dealing damage to the boss in the meantime. Look, my super's 90%. So I'll have a super for phase 2. So everything's easy with this run because of that. We can keep rifting the boss over and over as well. This is why it's so good. Phoenix Dive would not allow this. You could Phoenix Dive and get your Helion back, but you can't lock down DPS on the boss. Yeah? No good. It would be no good Phoenix Dive for this. But look, we get a rift back so we can keep locking down this zone. Makes DPS way easier and less stressful. Past half HP, second phase starts. We need a super. Healing grenade as a backup. I won't use it unless I need it. I'm going to use it now just in case. Pop super. All the ads come to middle. Kill all the ads with a super. And then do chip damage to the unstop. Watch the bees. We get a stun. That's a fantastic stun, that. That's such a clutch stun. Remember, we've got no glaive on. You've got to use movement. If you run a no glaive, your movement needs to be better. Simple as. Then we finish up the unstop. And then that's isolated that away from the ads. And then we're done. So now we can just scout for ammo. I've got full special. So it's really good on ammo economy. His Prometheus lens, really good. So I can just keep rifting up. And fight the boss. Which is really good. Got to watch for the solar flames though from the boss. Yeah, we can do our damage. 32 minutes in. Again, it's not too bad. Yeah, your average bolt charge Titan runs 25 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes. So, you know, it's not far behind a bolt charge. It's not bolt charge Titan levels. But it's pretty strong. And it's pretty fun. Anyways, that was a solo GM on this with a Scorch the Sun build. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.